स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम आपके लिए फर्स्ट चैप्टर ऑफ द बुक फर्स्ट फ्लाइट ऑफ क्लास 10th अ लेटर टू गॉड के साथ आए हैं. दिस स्टोरी लेटर टू गॉड हैज़ बीन रिटन बाय G.L.Fuentes. Its hero, its narrator, main character, everything of this story is Lencho. He is a farmer. He is a farmer and he is living at the top of a hill where he is having his cornfields, and his only and only resource for all his needs was agriculture. That day he was very happy because crop was very good. But he feels that his crops need water, rain. So he is hoping for the best from God, that there it would rain, and with this he was taking his meal with his family. All of a sudden he listens dropping rain, sound of dropping rain. He comes out. When he saw the drops of rain, he becomes very happy. And those drop of rain which was bigger, जो मोटी बड़ी बूंदें थी, that he says that they are not drops of rain, they are in fact coins. He compares big rains, big drops of the rain with 10 pesos. Peso is the currency of that place. और स्मॉलर छोटे बूंद को वो 5 पैसेज कहता है. He becomes very satisfied, very happy. But all of a sudden तेज हवा चलती है and hail storms starts. पत्थर पड़ने लगते हैं, बड़े बड़े पत्थर. He says, now what happens? It is silver coin. And with this hailstorm, he lost all his cornfield. All the crops were destroyed. In the morning he went to his field and he becomes very sad. He sat down, joining the hand, taking the name of the God. He sat down. He was very sad that how he would feed his family and how he would sow his crop next year. He says, not a single leaf remained on the plants and trees. Even locusts, grasshoppers, टिड्डे भी जो है कुछ फसलें छोड़ देते, इतना नुकसान नहीं करते जितना इस पत्थर से नुकसान हो गया है. He becomes very sad. Now he returns back to his family. There was no any hope for him that how he would survive. So he decides to write a letter to God, because he knows that he is the only who can help, who knows everything. So he takes his pen and writes down a letter. He writes in his letter that God, you know that I have lost all my field, crops, nothing has been left here. It's very difficult to survive. Then please send me 100 pesos so that I could feed my family in this year, as well I could sow my crop for the next. And putting the stamp, he sent that letter, he put it into the mailbox of the post office, returned back. There in the post office, one of the employee, while collecting the letter, he gets a strange address, because on the envelope he wrote the address to God. हंसते हुए वो लेके जाता है पोस्ट मास्टर के पास. सारे हंसने लगते हैं. But all of a sudden, postmaster becomes very serious. What was the reason of his seriousness? He started thinking that how much belief this man is having about God. This faith should not be broken. He decides. And he requests to his colleagues, and he himself gives the part of his salary, and in this way he collects 70 pesos. And on that, he decides to give that man in that envelope. After a few days, he reaches, Lencho. Lencho reaches to the post office and asks the postmaster if there is any letter, any reply for him. Postmaster was knowing, and he handed over that letter to him. He came out from the post office, he opened the envelope, found there was 70 pesos only. He returns back to his home, takes a breath of relief, and another letter he writes. He says that God, I know you can't commit this mistake because you are knowing everything. Certainly you might have sent 100 pesos, but the employees of post office are bunch of crooks. वे सब ठग हैं. उसको ऐसा लगता है कि भगवान 100 पैसे पूरा भेजे थे और 30 पैसे उसमें से जो है एम्प्लॉइज ने वहां से निकाल लिया. So he is writing again that letter to God on the same very address, in the same very manner, that God, kindly, next time rest of the money 30 pesos you will have to send, because without that I can't survive, but rest of the money shouldn't be sent through mail, because the employees of post office are a bunch of crooks. So, this is the story. You can imagine that how much faith he was having in God, in the existence of God, and how good people are here in the world, those who try their best to retain one's faith in the existence of God. He was a farmer and everything was only and only his crop for him. Dear students, I hope you will understand the story through this video. आपको अच्छा लगा होगा, आपको कहानी समझ में आई होगी. With this, I am going to discuss about some of the questions of this chapter, such as one is, why did Lancho say big drops of 10 pesos and small drops of 5 pesos? Why did Lancho say big drops of 10 pesos and small drops of 5 pesos? This he says because rain was very valuable for his crop. When he saw the bigger drops, he says, he compares that these are not merely a drop of rain, they are 10 pesos. And in the same way, for smaller drops, he says that they are 5 pesos. Here there are 5 pesos. Is it clear? Second question I am going to discuss, how did he console his family? He was very sad. And when the chief of the family is sad, you can imagine that what would be the condition of whole family. So, he consoles his family by the name of God, that God is there, that Almighty will help everyone. He has committed this thing, then certainly He will help us. Next question is, what did Lancho think all through the night? What he thought, what he has been thinking throughout the night. He was very sad and he was thinking about his future, that how he would feed his family, how he will survive. And next question is, why did postmaster become serious after reading the letter of Lancho? Why did postmaster become serious after reading the letter of Lancho? Yes, once he laughed along with the colleagues, but he becomes serious. Why? Because he wanted to retain the faith of that man, and he was astonished even आश्चर्यचकित था कि इतना भी कोई ईश्वर में विश्वास कर सकता है कि उसकी फसल नष्ट हो गई तो सीधे वो जो है ईश्वर के नाम चिट्ठी लिख देता है. That was his belief, and about that he was serious. And he decided that his faith should not be broken. Next question is, what is the meaning of bunch of crooks? What is the meaning of bunch of crooks? Bunch of crooks means thug. They all are cheaters. They didn't send the complete amount sent by God to him. He feels so. Students, I think वीडियो आपको अच्छा लगा होगा. Certainly, you go through the video once or twice, and if any type of problem you are getting in understanding it, तो आप इसमें मैसेज कर सकते हैं नीचे. Certainly, I'll try my best to answer you, to solve your problem. Stay blessed. Thank you. And again, I'm saying that put your sophisticated finger on the subscribe button so that next video for next chapter could easily be reached to you. Again, thank you. Jai Hind.